Welcome back to Speak. We're joined now by Oregon head football coach Dan Lanning. Thanks so much for joining the show, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
You guys showed up in the Big Ten and won it in year one. How validating was that for you as a head coach?
Well, it was a fun first step. Getting to experience a great conference, some storied traditions, getting to be a part of that and perform as well as we did was a lot of fun for our team, certainly rewarding, but doesn't have anything to do with next year. It's time for the next one.
According to 24/7 Sports, Oregon has the 5th ranked recruiting class in the 2025 year. How do you feel about this class compared to your other classes?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of time. You're really talking about the 2026 class, I assume, the next group.
Yes.
And, to me, we've always been a team that had the right group at the end, and that's what you worry about is as you get to the end. Signing day is a long ways away. I love the guys that we have on our group so far, our team so far, but excited to see what else we're able to add.
Coach, how you doing?
Doing great.
What does Dillon Gabriel bring that other QBs in Cleveland don't?
The guy is just a winner, Paul. He has unbelievable poise. He's got a lot of experience. He's played in some different programs. I think that's a great benefit for them. And he's as cool as the backside of the pillow. I don't think he never gets too high, never gets too low. And I think he'll handle that really well.
So you guys open up against Northwestern here on Fox. How excited are you to roll right up in Evanston and playing against the Northwestern Wildcats?
I think it'll be about 9 a.m. our time, which is perfect because we practice in the morning. So it'll be unique. I think they're building a new stadium, so this will be the last time getting to play in that stadium that they currently have. Got a ton of respect for their program, but that'll be a fun one for us for sure.
So you've been pretty successful when it comes to both recruiting and the transfer portal. What's your approach to getting these great athletes at Oregon?
I think consistency. Is really important, and you build it over time. It's one thing to have great recruits. It's another thing to do a great job developing those players into great players. And we've been fortunate to get the right people here that care about Oregon, that want to be great, that take a lot of pride in playing here, and then our coaches have done a really good job of developing those guys and creating opportunities.
I love Joy's question, Coach. You had to see my expression on my face when the camera went to a singer with you. He says, she asked you the question about, getting the players in the portal and everything. And I said, although it's legal now and, hey, fair game for everybody. Do you like the new format changes in the college football playoff, the way things are shaping up?
Yeah, I think there's still some questions out there on what exactly it'll look like, but I don't spend a lot of time worrying about the stuff I don't control. So, wherever the game's at, it's our job to go win it and go play. I do think that it's created some excitement with having more teams in the playoff. I think that's a lot of fun for fans and certainly fun for student athletes.
You guys have a pretty unique brand up there. We talked a lot about you guys last year. You're a very spirited coach, which we love. But what is it that separates this Oregon program from everyone else?
Well, I always say Oregon's about innovation, right? They're always on the cutting edge. And as much as I thought college football was different my first year, coming here 3 years ago, now going into year 4, it's changing as much as ever right now. So being able to adapt and adjust, that's something Oregon's always done. They've always been fresh. They've always been innovative. They've really supported student athletes, whether it's, creating new facilities, improving the campus. There's just a lot of growth around this place. And I think it's because we're never satisfied with the status quo. We want to continue to push.
Coach, how do you deal with losing so much talent to the NFL and still be competitive next season?
Yeah, nobody cares what you lost, right? I mean, that's the truth. You got to go out there and perform every single day. And as long as you've done a great job in recruiting and development, the rest will take care of itself. There's no excuses in college football. You got to go be the absolute best. But we believe in the people that we have on our team. And maybe they lack some experience, but they have the talent and the want to be great. And that's what we have to make sure we pull out of them.
Well, speaking of your upcoming team, who is someone that you're really excited about that we can keep an eye out for next season?
Joy, I always hate this question because whoever I don't say, right, everybody else.
Okay, but you're just telling me. No, there's no shade to anybody else. You're just excited about somebody.
No shade to anybody else.
No shade.
I'm excited about this entire team. You're going to see a ton of new faces. And, that's coach speak. But I'm not falling for the trap. I mean, we've got some really talented players, some guys that return some great experience. But I don't look at our team all of a sudden and say, okay, that's a big deficiency. You know, we're missing. But we lost 10 guys, you know, to the NFL, and that means we got to find 10 more, and I think we will.
So before we let you get out of here, Coach, you know, I'd like to have a little wager bet or something, somehow, some way. You know, Paul Pierce had a little bet, and he had a little walk about a week ago because the Celtics wind up not taking care of business against the Knicks. We play you guys up in Eugene, Oregon, and we haven't done so well up in Eugene. And, you know, I'd bet that if y'all lose, and I don't know how far your home is to work, but Paul walked 18 miles to work, okay, because he lost his bet. But I would bet you, if we come up to Eugene and we beat you, that you have to walk from home to work at whatever hour to make it on time, and I will wear Oregon gear the rest of the year on Saturday.
Ooh.
The rest of the year?
The rest of football season, better yet.
On Saturday?
On Saturday.
I love that. I don't mind. I'm 10-minute drive, so that's a long walk.
That's
but
30
my
minutes.
ass will get up and make that trip any day. So that sounds like a deal.
Oh,
And Lincoln Riley better not let me down.
I'd love to see you wearing green, Keyshawn. You look great in it. Again.
Well, you know what? The good thing is Oregon always has fancy gear. So
Oh, yeah.
You'll have different options every week. Every weekend if this goes down. Thanks so much, Coach, for joining us. Best of luck this year. We appreciate you stopping by.
Except when you play USC.
Of course, of course.
Best of luck all year. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Coach. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.